Culture, culture, culture. Culture TV. Culture, culture, culture.
Yebo, 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 yebo. When I say this is Africa, you say what? You say yebo. When I say this is Africa, you say what? You say yebo. Come rain, come sunshine, Africa shall remain Africa. Yeah, man, welcome to the African Connection Show. I'm your host, Mr. Juice Jabali Africa. I hope you're happy or your new year is treating you well. First of all, I would like to wish you a happy new year all the way from Culture Hub Studios. You know, happy new year wherever you are. You know, I hope your year is taking you, is taking you on the right direction. You know, because to me, at least I can thank God I'm alive. You know, if you crossed over, thank God, we thank God. If there was any negativity that was following you from the past year, I rebuke that in the name of the Most High. Riswa, you tell them Riswa. If there's people, if you are doing a project and it's stalled, you know, and you had some people who are giving you some negative vibes, tell them this year is all about the positive vibration. Tell them Riswa. And when they ask you, are you still going on with your project? Tell them Yebo. Yebo means yes. Yeah, man. Yeah, so today, I would say, I'm thankful. The year has been good. Jah, the Most High, was on our side. At least we started well. And before we proceed, of course, I'm going to take a recap of last year's, of what we did last year, the guests that we had. Every journey begins with one step. Did you hear me? Every journey starts with the small steps, one step at a time, 2 steps, like that as we go forward. If the last year was tough on you, if you had bills, you had all those taxes pressing you, tell them, Riswa. If, I say again, if you had maybe a project or you had something that you felt like it was a letdown to you, what we say here is Riswa. Put it down and forget about last year, And again, if you have a project that was going on, to me, I always say, my New Year's resolution is last year's resolution. Did you hear me? All the time, if there's something that I was about to do last year, I must finish that thing this year. Regardless, I must finish. So it's always good to give yourself a target and also, focus on what you believe in. Never listen to people who are always coming to tell you. You came up maybe with an idea, came up with a project, and somebody's all the time telling you, it cannot work, it cannot work. Avoid those kind of people. Those are not the people that you need in the new year, 2024. These people who are always bringing you down, all the time. You try to make a step. If you're the creator of that idea, of a project or something, and they're all the time telling you this one cannot work. Do you hear me? Avoid those people. Tell them what? Riswa, this is my project. I must finish what I started. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We have to keep it real. This is 2024. 2024 for those who wish to sound like that, like Americans. But anyways, as we keep it fresh here, we keep it positive. And I'm repeating again, if you have those friends who are all the time, you want to do something, the colonizers of ideas, don't tell them everything, When you got to do something, take it low like a submarine. Then rise when you get to the point, like you think, like you feel like you're ready. Do not tell people like those your whole idea. These are the people who are always bringing you the low vibrations. Low vibrations all the time, discouraging you not to do it. They say misery loves company. Do not be a part of this company. Tell them, Riswa. You know what I mean? For my friends who don't understand, Riswa is rebuking the devil. Tell them Riswa. Yeah? When I say this is Africa, you say what? You say Yebo. When I say this is a freak year, you say what? You say, Yebo, 2024 shall be a different year. You know? Yeah, man. Again, I repeat again, all the negativity, all the low balls, people who like to play balls and people, low balls, people who love the negative vibration. I promise you, you're not going to be in my life. Yeah? I promise you, you're not going to be in my life. It's all about positive vibration. People like those, all the time, you want to do something, somebody comes with an idea. No, it's not going to work. You know, spreading that negative vibe, the negative frequency. We don't want people like those in our lives. I said, a step at a time. Do not tell those colonizers what you're about to do. If it's an idea, a good idea, keep it low. Keep it like a secret. That's how things manifest. Do not roll with people who are not on the same wavelength. You know, you have to keep it going slowly but sure. When they bring you that negativity, you tell them what? Riswa, get out of here, you know? Anyways, we're going to come back. I'm going to take a short break and we're going to do a recap of what we did last year and where we're headed this year. You need to have a plan. It doesn't have to be this year's plan, but you have to start step by step. I said it again. It might take 1 year, it might take 2 years, depending with what you want to do. But do not tell these colonizers, these people who are always ready to criticize what they don't know. You know, they are too quick to criticize something that they don't know. Then themselves, they've never done anything. But when you're about to start your thing, they come out with ideas. Oh, this one cannot work, this will work. Get out of here. Tell them what? Riswa. You know? So, what I'm saying again is positive vibration. I have to keep it real. Keep it real as it is, you know? Yeah, man. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to do a recap of what we've been doing this year and where we are headed. You know? Where we are headed, and we're going to be bringing you, you know, only Jah knows, you know? And for all those people who kept it positive, supporting others, clapping for others when they do something good, all the blessings shall come to you. You know, I'm not trying to be like a preacher here, but these positive vibes, we have to preach it because the negativity has been too much. Too much. You know, all we want is success. All I want from Culture Hub here and the whole crew is success in your upcoming endeavors, you know. Yeah, man, when I say this is Africa, you say what? You say Yebo. When I say this is Africa, this is 2024, you say what? You say Yebo. Yebo, Yebo, Yebo. Welcome back to the African Connection. This is 2024, you know. Yeah, as I said, today we're going to do a recap of what we went through, our successes, you know, from the past year. And I'm going to start with this gentleman. You know, we produced this guy here. His name is Yawezekana Strong. This guy hails from Bukavu. He's a refugee that came here some 15 years ago from Congo, from Bukavu. You know, I wish peace upon them, you know. And also, I wish the African Union will be able to stop whatever is going on that corner. So Mr. Yawezekana Strong is somebody who sings. He's one of us here at Culture Hub. Produced him. He's got 2 albums. We had this guest in the past year. And he sings about love. He sings about freedom. And he's a guy who's got a lot of love for this continent. The continent Africa. You know. And yeah. And Yawezekana Strong is very passionate about music. He's a designer. Right now he's based here in Kenya. As I said, he's a refugee that came here. And he's a guy who is a very hard-working young man. And we had the privilege of hosting him here and hearing the stories of where he comes from, the stories of his people, you know, the stories of what's happening there, and also the other happy place or the happy space from where he comes from. Whereas we know Congolese, they're very much into music, of course. It's not only music. There's some Congolese who do business. There's some Congolese who are, you know, they're in every sector of everyday life. but they was kind of strong as into designing and music. So we had a privilege of having him on our show here. We work with him closely. And yeah, so you was kind of strong all the way from Bukavu, Congo. Welcome to the studio this coming year, or this year. You're welcome to come tell us more and tell us your progress. Yeah, when I say this is Africa, you say what? You say Yebo. Yeah, the second guest was Mr. Steve G. Steve G is a veteran. He's been in the Kenyan music scene for a very long time, more than 40 years. This is somebody that also teaches us here at Culture Hub. He's a piano teacher. He's a multi-instrumentalist. He plays the flute. He sings. He plays the piano. And he's been around. These are people that we looked upon when we were coming up into music. These are faces that I've seen in the music business in Kenya for a very long time. And Steve G also is part of us here. He's also an entrepreneur. Steve G loves music. He loves teaching. He's been also teaching here at Culture Hub classes. He's been teaching some youngsters and also teaching us, you know, because learning is every day. And this is somebody who's been in the music business for over 40 years. These are the real OGs of the Kenya music industry. You know, they say, if you don't know where you're coming from, you don't know where you're going. Mr. Steve G has been around for a very long time. I've seen him in the scene for, like I can say, forever. So Steve G is also a producer. He's got a couple albums out there, but there's one that we produced here in at Culture Hub Studios, and it's also right there on the socials and also on the platforms, Spotify and them. You can find Steve G or Steve Gatitu. And he's got pretty good music. He sings, he's a versatile musician. He sings in Kikuyu, he sings in English, and also in Swahili. So his music is, he sings about also social justice. He sings about love. He sings about, the music has a lot of teachings. So do not forget, go look it up there. Steve Gatitu is also on YouTube and the platforms. Check him out, you know. Yeah, Mr. Steve G, we are looking forward to this year and to see what we're going to come up with this year, because we know our business is music business. We have other stuff that we do on the side, but number one, primarily, is music business. Yeah, man, when I say this is Africa, you say what? You say Yebo. I'm your host, Mr. Juice Jabali Africa. Welcome to 2024. As we're doing right now, we are doing a recap of what we did last year as we're heading into the new year. And we're hopeful like everything shall be in order. We know everything, as I said. We're keeping it positive, you know, and we're keeping it real right here at the African Connection Show. And this show is all about African excellence. You know what I mean? You have to believe in yourself, you know. Yeah, the next guest is Mr. Muniafu. We were privileged to have Mr. Muniafu in the past year. I've known Mr. Muniafu for a very long time. This is a guy who's been in the music industry. No, in the film. I repeat again. He's been in the film industry for a long time. These are the people who are running Machawood. Everybody in the film industry, they know. They were together with the other folk out there at the Machakos, the Machawood space, which is equivalent. You know, I am sure right now he's not there, but his expertise is still needed. As I always say, you gotta respect the OGs. If you found somebody has clocked 30 years in doing something, I'm repeating and I'm keeping it nice and slow. If somebody has been doing something for 30 years, you cease to do stuff for yourself. You belong to the community. I'm repeating again. If you've done something, you're seasoned, You've done something for 30 years. 30 years. You belong to the community because these are people who are grooming the next generation. Mr. Muniafu has been into so many films. I think I saw him in one time during the Indiana Jones. He's been everywhere. He's been in the film industry for a very long time. This is somebody that the Kenya film industry need to take advantage of. These people have been doing something for a long time. They're good to nurture and teach the next generation of filmmakers, next generation of actors, because they've been around. So 30 years is a long time to be in an industry. We had this guy here. We shared a lot about the film industry, what needs to be done, because the film industry is still young, you know, and it's growing a step at a time. I said, 1,000,000 miles, you got to start. To cover 1,000,000 miles, you need to start with one step. You need to start with one step. So Mr. Muniafu has been in this industry for a long time. And we were privileged to have him on our show. And I was glad he came. And, you know, yeah, as we heading into the 2024, we're still going to bring you the progress and bring this guest back and to see what they're up to, if they're really working out there, and if the younger generation of filmmakers are really taking advantage of these people. And Victor Muniafu is somebody who's always ready to work with anybody. He's always ready. He's a free-spirit guy. He's easy to approach. So anytime you hear about Victor Muniafu, you can reach him out. Find him. It's very easy to find this guy. Go find somebody who's doing film. They're going to direct you to Mr. Victor Muniafu. Yeah, man, Mr. Victor Muniafu, again, welcome back to the African Connection Show. We're going to be glad to host you back and tell us what you're up to and what you're doing. If you're back in Machawood or if you're back wherever you are, you're going to come tell us what you are up to, because I'm sure you're up to some good stuff. Yeah, man. All right. Our next guest was a farmer, small-scale farmer called Mweni, Miss Mary Mweni. And she specializes in a lot of organic farming. We were privileged to host this lady. Actually, she hosted us at her farm, which we ended up eating sukuma wiki. If you may wish, they're called collard greens, or some people call them kale. We were privileged to have Mrs. Mweni, Mary Mweni, and she said what she was up to. Of course, she complained about the cost of living. She complained about everything has gone up, fertilizer, and also she complained about the river that they normally fetch water from and stream it into their farm. So, and also she complained about the cost of farm needs, like all these things that are needed to make her produce come out the way she wishes. So Miss Mary Mweni, she also cooked ugali for us and sukuma wiki. We ate our sukuma right there at the farm. Yeah, Mary Mweni, we're also going to bring her back. We are going to bring her back either to the studio or go to her farm and see what she's up to, because she does the farming momentarily. There's a day that she does kale. There's a day she does pawpaws. There's a time she does corn or maize. So we're going to go back and find out and go to see, go visit her and find out what she's planting this season for rice. All right? In the studio, we are doing a recap of last year's, what we did and the guests that we had, that we are privileged to have in the studio. We had Mr. Vitalis Nyagweno. This old man hails from Ugenya, Siaya County. He's a guru. He's a teacher. He's a grandpa. He's the emperor of the Nyatiti. Nyatiti is an 8-stringed instrument that is played by the Luos around the lake region. So Mr. Vitalis, we were very privileged to have this old man. He's been around. He's traveled the world with his Nyatiti. Nyatiti is an 8-stringed instrument that is played by the Luo people from Nyanza and the lake region. Mr. Vitalis Oduor, we had the privilege of bringing him and producing his first recording in the Culture Hub studios. This old man has been around, but most of the time you heard on the video. If you wish, you can revisit. He complained about a lot of exploitation happening around, and and people releasing his music, recording them with gadgets all over, and he's never gotten a penny out of his music. So we were privileged to record him, and he gave us permission, which was very important. And we came to find out Mr. Nyagweno has really taught a lot of people the Nyatiti instrument, including the person, there's a guy that I know, his name was Nyamungu. He's from Siaya County. I just visited the village where he comes from. He's the person that actually he was taught by Vitalis. Actually, Vitalis Oduor polished him. And then he ended up teaching a lady called Anyango. And then we even went to Alunyi village where we found a guy whose dad perfected Anyango's techniques, in playing the Nyatiti. Yeah? So the music is called Nyatiti music, but we came to find out there's all kinds of, Luo music is not just only one type of music. Some people might think just Luos play Nyatiti, there's Orutu, there's Karachuonyo, there's all kinds of styles that are played from the Luo community. And they have if I'm not wrong, 2-stringed instruments. I know there's Nyatiti and there's the Orutu, which is also a dance. I went there in Siaya and I found out the source of where the music comes from. And it's beautiful. I loved the diversity that comes from there. But again, going back to Mr. Nyagweno has taught a lot of people, including his son, and including many that he complained about, but he requested also for those well-wishers who wish to wish him well, can get back to him and say hello. Because he said, he's an old guy, of course, and old people, they speak in parables. He said, you don't want to come when he's already gone. It's good to visit him when he's still alive. Yeah, man. Mr. Nyagweno is a wonderful man. There's a guy that is called Wakake. He's a youngster. Again, he comes from that area, Siaya. Mr. Wakake, we were privileged to have Mr. Wakake in the studio. And also, he hails from where Mr. Nyagweno comes from. And also in Korogocho, where Mr. Nyagweno has classes that he teaches. He's now ailing. He's an old guy. Mr. Wakake is a young man that really has, I call him Mr. Fancy Fast Fingers. If you see the way he plays his Nyatiti, he's very fast in speed. And also his techniques are complex. It's not just for the sake of being fast and not playing. But Mr. Wakake, we also recorded him here at Culture Hub. We produced his first CD or his first recording. His first recording is going to be available this year. It's going to be finished. It's going to be completed this year, and it's going to be available on the platforms. You see the thing that I was talking about passing on the baton. I say it again. It's not pleasant for somebody to go to the grave with talent or with something that you think you can pass on to the next generation. It's not good to die with your talent without passing it on to the next generation to make sure continuity goes on. So Mr. Nyagweno has left a legacy, and his legacy is Mr. Wakake. Mr. Wakake is a young man in his 30s right now, and he's headed at the right direction. Mr. Wakake teaches also, which is a beautiful thing. Mr. Wakake, big up. He teaches. He has a crew, or he has a bunch of young folk that is teaching, which I'm very glad he's doing this. So I say it again, do not die with your talent. Teach people, pass it on. That way you're going to leave a legacy. If you've done something for 30 years, I'm repeating again. For 30 years, you don't belong to yourself. You belong to the community. Pass it on to make sure the continuity goes on. When I say this is Africa, you say what? You say Yebo. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back with the recap. When I say this is Africa, you say what? You say Yebo. When I say this is Africa, you say what? You say Yebo. Welcome to the African Connection Show. This show is all about African excellence, African positivity. You know, if you know you have something that is positive to the society, that you think you can share with the audience, if you're a scientist, if you're a sculptor, if you're an artist, if you are an inventor, do not forget to send us a message on the socials. That is Culture Hub Live on Facebook, Culture Hub Live on Instagram, Culture Hub Live on Yafrika, Culture Hub Live on even YouTube. Do not forget to subscribe. You're going to find us and we're going to respond back to you. Yeah? And this year, all I can say, I'm wishing you a happy new year. Happy 2024. I wish you all the best in what you're doing. Keep it positive. You know, when I say this is Africa, you say what? You say Yebo. I'm your host, Mr. Juice Jabali Africa. Yebo, Yebo, Yebo. Welcome back. Welcome back to Culture Hub Live, the African Connection Show. If you want to subscribe, don't forget, we are right there on the social. Culture Hub Live on YouTube, Culture Hub Live on Yafrika, Culture Hub Live on Instagram, Culture Hub Live on Facebook, and very soon we're going to be on TikTok, Culture Hub Live. Anyways, our next guest is this young lady, this queen, this talented young lady. I call her the new Miriam Makeba. This is the next Miriam Makeba because her writing is on point. She writes in 3 languages, Swahili, English, and Dholuo. This lady is the future of the Miriam Makeba type of music. You know, Yama, this young lady is also an entrepreneur. Her name is Achieng Guyo. We produced Achieng Guyo here. Her first album is here to be released again this year. And Achieng Guyo has been with us now, I think, 3 years. She's also an entrepreneur. She does her stuff. She's got her side jobs, but she's very passionate about Africa. She's also a Pan-Africanist because for the love of Africa, she's #1. She loves Africa and also sings about Africa. She sings about social justice. She sings about love. She's got a lot of teachings. For her age, I called her the old soul before. And today, she's still an old soul like Miriam Makeba. So Achieng Guyo, she also loves fashion. And she's been designing her own clothes. And she's very creative with her hands and also very creative in her mind. You know, Achieng Guyo has an album. It's called Muku. Muku means great. Muku has very deep songs. I know my favorite is Muku, the song. I produced it myself. Culture Hub, we had musicians, great musicians in there. It was mixed, some songs are mixed by Guido Kibukosia, legendary Guido. And it has 11 songs. And most of the songs there, they talk about very deep stuff. Achieng Guyo is the future of the Miriam Makeba type of music. If you wish, you can call it Afrofusion, but I call it roots music because her music is so deep. For somebody her age, I respect the music that she sings about. There's a lot of teachings you're going to pick up from her music. Achieng Guyo, again, welcome back. We're going to be bringing you back her progress and what she's up to because she's got a lot of music bubbling from her. It's just the other day, she called us here to wish us a new year, and she says she's ready for new vibes. She's all about positive vibration. As I say it again, This year is all about positive vibration. All right, the next guest comes from Migori, Mr. Nyachienga Oduor. He's a young guy. These are the people that we've inspired. That came from him. I didn't know there's a generation that we inspired. There's Jabali Africa out there. Mr. Nyachienga is a young guy who's already doing big stuff. He's doing a lot of big stuff out there. Mr. Nyachienga is a percussionist. He teaches in Sweden. He's got a group and is based out of Sweden. These are the people that I'm talking about. We need to take advantage of such people. He's a young guy, but he's already teaching people. He has students in Sweden, where he also has a foundation here called Mtafsiri. You can look it up. And he's doing a lot of big stuff. He's doing good for the community. As young as he is. He's been in music business, I think, over 10 years, if I'm not wrong. But he's already doing big stuff. Mr. Nyachienga is based out of Sweden right now, but he has his foundation called Mtafsiri Africa. He's based in Kenya. He comes every year here twice to make sure like the foundation is progressing, teaching the other young kids to come with music, and also he arranges for them to visit Sweden to do music. So these are the things that I'm saying again. There's no need of going to the grave. Passion is very important. When you pass it on to the next generation of artists, or next generation of youth, you are doing good to the community. You are doing good to the community. And that's a very important thing. So we're going to be bringing you the progress from Sweden, because he comes to Kenya. And we're also going to visit, because he stretched his arm and told us to visit him and to see what he's doing in Sweden. So Mr. Nyachienga, we're going to be coming there in Sweden. I know you're based out of Stockholm. We're going to be coming there in Sverige. I've been there before, and we're going to be coming there. Yeah! Our next guest, his name is a young man at 27 years old. He's teaching. He's teaching IT. He has a degree in accounts. But his passion, he's a very talented animator. This is the first one I was meeting in Kenya. At his age, he teaches people. He has students, online students that he teaches online. His name is Ambrose Gisharu. Mr. Ambrose Gisharu is a brilliant young man that we've always talked about tapping, the government tapping from these young people instead of them migrating out of this country to go look for greener pastures out there. Why can't we have those greener pastures right here in our country? Why can't we make these spaces available for these young people? This young guy really impressed me. He has students in Nigeria. He has students in Zimbabwe. He's teaching them online about animation. This is the future. Technology is the future. As I always say, because I know we have a technology city coming up at Konza. Some people think it's an illusion, but for me, I'm an optimistic person. I believe in the positive vibration. Konza is going to be a dream. It's going to be realized. It took the Silicon Valley since 1955. It took them until 1982 when Silicon Valley busted into a robust economy in America. So everything has a step. You know what I mean? It took Europe 50 years to unite, but it's not going to take Africa 50 years to unite. It can take us even 2-3 years. All right? Yeah, I'm a guy who believes in positivity. I believe in African excellence. So Ambrose Gisharu is a guy who's doing a lot of good stuff for the community already at 27 years old. 27 years. He's teaching, he has students. I was really impressed by what Ambrose Gisharu was doing. And as I said before, if you are doing something and you cannot pass it on to the next generation or even in your generation, because knowledge doesn't know age. Knowledge doesn't know age. Pass it on. If you can teach, pass it on. Pass it on. That's how things grow. Growth comes out of that. Yeah? So, Mr. Ambrose Gisharu, we're going to be following your progress, and also we're going to be following his progress for the viewers so that we can bring it and share what Gisharu is all about in 2024. Yeah? When I say this is Africa, what do you say? You say Yebo. Yeah, that means yes. Yeah, man. The next guest is a lady. This lady has migrated from America to here. Mrs. Erica Asikoe. She happens to be my sister-in-law. She's got a lot of good plans for herself and also for the community here. Yeah. So, Mrs. Erica Asikoe is an entrepreneur. She's told me a lot of plans that she's doing here, including opening up a restaurant and other educational stuff, book clubs and all that, because her profession, she's an educator. She's been doing this for the last 20 years. I think it's more than 20 years. And that's enough experience for her to come bring us what she got, because she wants to play a role in the African excellence of, for us, by us, teaching the kids here, and also bringing back the culture of reading and a lot. There's a lot more. As I said again, we're going to bring you her progress. They already have a program running in Kilgoris. I was amazed by what she was doing there. They've already built computer labs in Kilgoris. They already have programs running, teaching the kids. And I asked her why they started in the less privileged areas, but it was because of the notion that people have, like country folk always get the last of everything. No, this time they started in the country, and I love the programs that they're running already in the mashinani. In Kenya, here we call it mashinani. If you wish, you can call it in the country. You know, I love what they're doing there. And we're going to bring you the progress as we go in 2024. When I say this is Africa, you say what? You say Yebo. Say it with pride. Yebo. It means yes. Our last guest in 2023 was Mr. Harry Dingo. Harry Dingo is a very versatile musician. He's also a trained teacher. He's a guy that believes in African excellence. This guy hails from the coastal part of Kenya. And he was once the pioneer of a group that went viral, a group that was big in the 90s called Pressman Band. This group, some of the people that also inspired us. And right now, I'm doing a project with them. It's a project of Osibisa. Osibisa is a band that rocked Europe in the late 60s and the early 70s to 80s to early 90s. The only African group that crossed over Europe and everywhere. Osibisa. Do not forget to go look it up. Osibisa. Yeah, man, we are doing a project with them, and together with the other maestros, the other veterans, Guido, Danger, Steve, and them. We were privileged to have Mr. Harry Dingo here. He's a multi-instrumentalist. He teaches. He also has a new project coming up this year. We're going to wait and see. He's a very well-trained musician. You know, these guys, I've learned a lot from these guys. We were privileged to have him on the African Connection show. He shared about where he comes from Coast. He's a very knowledgeable gentleman, and very well traveled too. And he's got a lot of knowledge that we want to pass it on. And he's passing it on because he has other people that he teaches. He's also a teacher. You can reach him out if you want. And yeah, so I don't have much to say about Mr. Harry Dingo. We're going to come back because he's going to revisit. He said it himself. As I say it again, in closing, I wish you a happy new year. I wish you all the success. As I say it again, those people who always want to bring down people, somebody wants to do something, you're saying, that can't work, and you haven't done anything for yourself, you go do something for yourself first before you start criticizing other people. What we say is, you tell them what? Riswa. If they tell you, no, this one is not a good idea, do this. Ask them, what have they done for themselves? I tell you, detach from this type of people. You tell them what? Riswa. If you have somebody, every time you want to make a step forward, they're pulling you behind. They're pulling you behind, bringing you low vibes and those vibrations. Tell them, Riswa. Those who are too quick to go criticize people, a positive, a noble idea or a noble project, you're too busy throwing negativity online there, on the keyboard. You tell them what? Riswa. We don't want no negativity in 2024. Yeah? When I say this is Africa, you say what? You say, Yebo. We have to tackle these people and hold them by the horns. We don't want no rogue bulls in the ring. We want you to be of a positive, attitude towards other people. We are all about positive vibration and African excellence. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. I wish you all the best in 2024. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel. We are right there on the socials. Culture Hub Live on Instagram. Culture Hub Live on Facebook. Culture Hub Live on Yafrika. Culture Hub Live on YouTube. And Culture Hub Live on TikTok. When I say this is Africa, you say what? You say, Yebo, I'm your host, Mr. Juice Jabali Africa. We are out.
The African connection. The African.